Donald Trump has his State of the Union address tonight, which is kind of in the political world built up to be a really big event. What does it really do? I don't know. But a lot of people tune in. The president makes their case, tries to say things are great, but also he's going to say, but the things that are bad are because of Biden. And he got some really bad news right before the State of the Union. We're going to talk about that in a second. But just be prepared, because this was his last speech. I can't remember if it was technically a State of the Union or just address, a kind of State of the Union type speech. I think it was, I don't know, who knows. But this was the last time he had a similar event.
$8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
Yeah, it is, except for it's not. Or the famous part where he just goes, and then Social Security checks are going to 100-year-old, 150-year-old, 175-year-olds, 108. He just lists off all these numbers, not realizing that he's just seeing names that are still in the database, but not people who are getting checks. But they misinterpreted it because they're goobers. They're goobers and liars. But right before a moment when he's going to insist that Americans love him and that things are going great under him, he was thumped with this. Trump gets humiliating report card before State of the Union. While the president doubles down on tariffs, his approval ratings are tanking. President Donald Trump faces a 60% disapproval rating, his lowest since the immediate aftermath of January 6. Wow. As he prepares for Tuesday's State of the Union, a new poll from Washington Post, ABC News, Ipsos. That's a lot. Why do you need so many people to do a poll? Man. I think there's one person in the whole world who finds that funny, and I'm sitting right here. Published Sunday. What? We do have a new poll from the Washington Post, ABC News, Ipsos, CNN, Reuters, Gallup, CBS poll. Found that of that figure, 47% strongly disapprove of the 79-year-old president. Most voters, 65%, believe Trump has overstepped his authority by signing a flurry of questionable executive orders in his first year. He is slipping in confidence on issues including his use of military force in other countries, his handling of the Epstein files, and ICE's immigration raid tactics. Americans are also souring on his face. Very sick of seeing this image or ones like it everywhere. You also have this reporting. Just the quickest pause to request that you click the subscribe button, the simplest, easiest, freest way, completely free, to support the work that we do. Right below the video, click that subscribe button. Back to the video.
Well, new this morning, on the eve of President Trump's State of the Union address, a new CNN poll points to the enormous challenges ahead for him and Republicans heading toward the midterm elections. Look at this. Only 36% of all U.S. adults approve of Mr. Trump's job performance. That's down 12 points from a year ago. 63% say they disapprove. CNN senior White House reporter Kevin Liptak is here with us. Kevin, you've been looking more closely at this poll and the issues the president faces. What are some of the important trends right now?
Well, the trends are all going downwards. Certainly, we saw that downward trend in the overall approval rating. That's the lowest point for the president heading into one of these yearly State of the Union addresses in both of his terms. But it's also sort of a historic low for any president this century at this point in their term. So these are...
Hear that. If you feel like you're screaming into a void, if you feel like there's no hope for the country because this guy's president, but he's so obviously insane, his current unpopularity is so historic that he's less popular at this point in a presidential term than anyone since we've been doing polling. Okay? Since you could get together, watch your ABC, CNN, Reuters to do a poll. You haven't seen anything like this.
Significantly weak numbers. And I think what is driving it is the independents. When you look at how much the approval among independents has really dropped off. Last year, the president was down 13 points among independents. This year, he's down 47 points among independents. So 26% approve. 73% disapprove. I think anytime you're that far underwater among independents, your overall approval rating, you just can't recover from that, essentially. Yeah. And when you look at all of these other demographics where the president has actually traditionally...
I think you get it. He's going to show you a bunch of numbers. Oh, this group that he made headway with also has plummeting approval rating. Reuters Ipsos poll, Ipsos is busy, suggests that Americans are increasingly concerned about... We're doing Ipsos jokes now. That's the state of things. Concerned about President Trump's age and state of mind. Look at that. The survey, which was conducted online between February 18th and 23rd, measured the attitudes of adults. It found that 89% Democrats, 30% of Republicans, and 64% of independents believe that the president is becoming erratic, not to be confused with erotic, with age. So he is, I love how 30% of Republicans, some of which still like Trump, are like, oh yeah, he's becoming very erratic with age. Taken all together, 61% of respondents describe Trump that way. A clear majority say something's off about this dude's mind. And to them I say, hey, true. You remember that election we had? Would have loved to have that 61%. That would have been real helpful. But no, all love to y'all. I don't mean to demonize you guys like that, but it's just, I'm angry. I had a rough night. I'm sorry. Anywho, then you have this news, which is crazy. Jeanine Pirro just had to give up trying to arrest Democrats who just said something that was true. They just released a video saying something that was true, which is military members are obligated to not follow illegal orders. And then Trump tried to get Jeanine Pirro to arrest them. And another way for you to feel some level of hope is our institutions are still held together enough that they are able to defend against sometimes efforts like this.
NBC News is now reporting that the office of Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, has decided to stop pursuing the case against those 6 Democratic lawmakers who urged members of the military to not comply with unlawful orders. That's according to 3 people familiar with the matter. The news comes roughly 2 weeks after a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. unanimously rejected an attempt by Pirro to indict the lawmakers over that video.
Of course, because any adult with a functional brain would sit in that room and go, so you're trying to charge them with a crime because they said something that is literally the law? That doesn't seem right. Jeanine Pirro reportedly abandoned case against 6 Democratic lawmakers. Failure, shame, shame, shame. I'm just saying to Jeanine, and I will not apologize for that. So don't even try, Jeanine. And then, the broader destruction, this happened to fail, yay, but others haven't. They were able to arrest Don Lemon, for example. They were able to, I think, bring charges against James Comey. Yes, they were. And the list goes on. This is the destruction of the independence of the DOJ. So much so that Trump is kind of bragging about it by posting a video of his nemesis, Caitlin Collins, being like, Trump's putting up banners here at the DOJ headquarters, which kind of represents the way that Trump has wrecked a little bit of a separation between prosecutorial decisions and politics. And Trump posted it right on.
It's almost impossible to miss the new banner bearing President Trump's face that just went up here at the Justice Department. If you've been in Washington in recent months, you've seen similar ones at the Department of Labor or the Department of Agriculture, for example. But this one seems to strike a different chord, given it's the Department of Justice. Historically, administrations have tried to stress a level of independence between the West Wing and the White House and their Justice Department, arguing that politics doesn't influence who is being prosecuted. But it's safe to say that line has been erased since President Trump has taken office in his second term. We've seen him directly pressure the Attorney General to prosecute people who he perceives as his political enemies or people who have led prosecutions.
Trump posted this. Caitlin Collins is like, Trump in a dangerous, catastrophic for our democracy way, has directed his attorney general to be like his personal attack dog. But the gal's at 50,000. I know that's what you were thinking. I was just going to say it. Okay, I get it. Yes, funny. Okay, so, and Trump posts that video of Caitlin Collins outlining a very anti-democratic thing Trump is doing and signs off on it.
Enemies or people who have led prosecutions against him. The Justice Department says this banner is in honor of America's upcoming 250th birthday celebration. But if you look at this banner closely, it also echoes what President Trump himself has said, talking about the slogan, "Make America Safe Again."
Yeah. So I guess Trump, it's no longer a secret, as if it was, that he indeed is going after his political enemies. She doesn't say going after people that some could perceive as his political enemy, but also have serious allegations against them. She just goes, oh, he's getting Pam Bondi to go after his political enemies. And Trump posted the video endorsing it. Very strange.